I'm joined by the great Viddal Riley after a long, long, long time out of the ring. I'm so happy to
Yes.
say I'm joined by him 2 weeks out from his fight on, by the way, a massive card, a huge
No, no.
pay-per-view event.
Listen,
What a time to come
I
back.
am I am very thankful to the team over at Sky and Boxer for saying, you know what, it's your UK debut, you're coming back to the country, let's put you on this show. I feel like that's the platforms that I deserve. As much as I haven't been in the ring for a couple of years, I've spent a lot of time building a great brand. And this is a time for me to showcase that brand by delivering a great performance in the ring. So I'm excited.
You're a big ticket seller. Obviously, you're a big draw in boxing, from especially in the UK, right? Because of your audience here, and if it, like, even if
Yeah.
there wasn't the whole YouTube thing, you always had, a decent community in the West Ham Boxing Club that would come to see
Yes.
your pro
Yes.
fights whenever that was going to happen. Did you have to kind of say to people, I'll be back out in a few months.
Listen,
This
I
one's going to be sold
literally
out.
was dealing with that. I was dealing with that about like before jumping on this interview. I'm getting my family to help me, tell people, listen, we can't get tickets for every fight. This one's in
Yeah.
Manchester. Wait till we're in London so we can get more people in because yeah, there's been a lot of demand from influencers, family, friends. It's from all angles. So we got to manage it and get to that level where we can tell more people, yes, you can have a ticket.
And in terms of how you're feeling, you're 100% fit now. You're feeling great.
Good.
You
Like, listen, honestly, I could fight tomorrow. I could fight tomorrow. I've had a great camp, about 6.5 weeks, 7 week camp. It's got progressively harder. We've upped the sparring partners, we've been sparring weekly. The performances in the gym are improving. So now, to me, it's just got to that point where it's just time to show it. It's just that time to really show what I've been doing. I've done a lot of talking because, that's who I am.
Mhm.
And that's the platform that I have. It requires me to talk, but I'm just ready to do the action as well.
Over the last couple of years, have you felt that? Has there been times where you felt you made the wrong decision going pro so early?
No, 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 no. I went pro at the perfect time. The time I went pro, I was offered an opportunity that very few are offered to
Yeah.
to move to the US and start a career out there behind a great team, Mayweather Promotions. My former manager, Amir as well, he gave me a good start and a good platform to learn the game, not only in the ropes, but outside and the business side of things. So I turned pro at the perfect time. Everything that's happened has happened at the perfect time. It hasn't seemed like it whilst it's happening, but then in hindsight, I can say if it turned out any different, I wouldn't be in the same position. So no, I'm grateful. I made the right decision, and with Sky and Box, I've made the right decision as well. And it's just that time to elevate now.
And is the idea now, when it comes to your old promotion where you were with Mayweather, is the idea that, like, look, if for some reason, like, obviously you're going to build your profile back in the
Yeah.
UK where you are, but if for some reason you found yourself in America with a fight going, they would be the guys you would probably go to.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, boxing is international sport. Sky
Yeah.
have the deal with Top Rank,
Yeah. Super
more
Bowl.
so. So I'm more likely in the US if I revisit a career over there to be aligned with Top Rank since that's the network that I'm aligned with. But the connection to me with the promotions is still there. I'm sure if I was out there, needed a gym to train, needed a few, just a help around the city, around the town. I'm pretty sure that would be available to me. Nothing was left with bad blood, and that's not, life is. That's not what life's about. You got
Mhm.
to make the decisions that are right for you, but there doesn't have to be animosity in those decisions.
And you must be feeling now, given where you are, first fight is going to be on this monstrous pay-per-view that's going to be ginormous. This could be one of the biggest pay-per-views the
Yeah,
UK has had in a long time. And you made some tough decisions. You made the decision not to take 2 weeks out of your camp and do the quarantine and go to the States and fight on that
yeah.
big Logan and Floyd card. You made the decision to pull out of some fights with some injuries. Do you think now, looking at where you're going to be in a couple of weeks, you made all the right decisions at the times you made them?
I did. I did. I made the right decision. Some of those fights that didn't go through was not at any fault of mine.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was just the world changing, how to get around the restrictions as well, especially with the Logan and Floyd card. that wasn't down to me. I was ready to go. My team wanted me to go, but the things that needed to be in place to be able to cross the border and
You
get
would have had
past
to
the
go to Mexico for
restrictions.
2 weeks, right?
Yeah, I would have had to go to Mexico, quarantine, out of camp for 2 weeks to then be able to get into the country. And that's something I'd done on a few occasions whilst I was living out there, having to find a country to quarantine to get back. And it really ruins your flow, and you can't maintain a boxing camp. I've always done that outside of camp. To do that in camp, to travel with the team, for people to maintain my fitness and my sharpness, it just doesn't make any sense. And there's no point in me putting myself out there with the platform that I have if I'm not adequately ready.
So let's talk about your big upcoming fight. No opponent named yet, but are you happy
No
with?
opponent named yet.
Do you know who the opponent is, and it just they're
I
working it
know,
out,
I
or?
know, I know, I know that we're working on it. I know there's a few names, we're nearly there now. There was a list this big, it's now cut down, and I'm sure amongst the list that we have, one of those people will be standing on the opposite side of the ring from me come February 19th.
And is this kind of a fight to reintroduce you to the British public, to kind of get you back out
Of
there?
course,
It's
of
not going to be
course.
someone who's like at like a really high level, but it's not. It's also not going to be someone who's got 1 win and 40 losses or anything like that.
No, I don't want opponents with 1 win and 40 losses, because as much as I can knock him out and create a highlight reel and we can do interviews about how devastating I look, for my personal progress and to the level that I want to reach, it's not going to help that. It's just only going to help hype. I've already got enough of a following. I don't need to do things to increase my followers per se if it's not helping me personally and it's not helping my personal progression. So when we're looking at an opponent list, we're looking at people that, of course, isn't a step too far too soon, but at the same time, we want people to look and go, "Oh, I don't know if he should have chose that guy as his first fight back in 2 years." But I love that. I find that exciting. And once I prove to people, yes, that's the opponent I've chosen, how I got rid of him, they can realize, no, he's a real prospect. Not only a UK prospect, but worldwide, he's one of the top prospects.
Is it a 6-rounder or a 4-rounder?
It's a 6-rounder.
Okay, so you would probably get a few rounds in, hopefully get this guy out of there. But it's possible as well. The guys they put out there are tough, and he's not going to be someone who's going to fall over. And then the plan is, I would assume, now that you're fit, now that you're back in the UK, back in a flow, you're going to be calling Ben Shalom pretty much every boxer show, saying, "Get me out there again."
We need the activity. Every fighter that we know, every fighter that's reached that level has been active. They've been in the ring. It becomes second nature for them to perform under the lights. That is something that I have missed so far in my professional career. And if I want to reach the level, which is the world level, the elite level, that activity needs to increase. So once we have this fight, we get this guy out of the way, I'll have a week off, we'll talk to the team, we'll see what shows are coming up, and we want to be back in the ring as soon as possible.
Lawrence Okoli said you're one of the top 5 people he's ever sparred. You must be delighted to see his success as it is happening at the moment.
No, honestly, Lawrence, he works hard. He dedicates himself. He knows what works for him, and he sharpens the tools. And we can see that he's getting the results with that. So no one should have anything to say bad about Lawrence Okoli besides, listen, he done what he needed to do. He's now at that level, and he's looking to defend his title. When is it? On the 27th?
27th of February, 2 weeks or the week after you, the weekend after you.
I enjoy watching Lawrence perform. Because he's a fighter who's improving, and we know he wasn't always highly skilled. He was quite raw, but had a lot of power. Now you're starting to see how he's using his power and skill to get through his fights and win in great fashion.
When I interviewed him a couple of months ago, I think it was his first defense or something, I asked him about you. I think it was in the context of, at the time, there was a thing where like Jake was calling you out and all this stuff, and he was almost offended at the idea that you would be said in the same breath as these YouTube guys.
As he should. Lawrence knows me, and he knows me as the boxer I am, and to be put in the same sentence as those guys, it's definitely offensive. It shouldn't be a thing, but I understand why. I understand why. I live in the world, I live outside of myself. I can see why people will make that a suggestion. But that will soon be eliminated. Once I'm in the ring and I'm active and I'm not just banging hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube, people will say his skill level is different. We need to take him out of that bracket. And that's on me. That's my responsibility to do, so that people can understand I'm coming from a different place. I'm coming from a different perspective.
I don't want to take up much more of your time, but I wanted to ask about True Geordie had a video where he was training with your dad,
Yes.
and there was that beautiful moment in that video where you surprised him by confirming that you were coming home to the UK. Can you talk to us a little bit about that moment and
it's
let
been,
your father know?
Yeah, my dad's been the stable person in my boxing career, the entire career, my whole life. Got me into it, sharpened my skills, adds to my skills. So, when I moved away to the US, there was that distance, there was that bridge. It was just like, he couldn't be out there. Mm-hmm. So it is now, I was in the responsibility and in the hands of others. For him to hear that I'm coming back, for him to now be my head coach, work with me full time, like how most of my boxing career has been. It's a special moment, and I've felt tons of improvements since coming back to the UK and working with him. No one knows me better than he does. He knows exactly how to get through to me. A lot of coaches can put out the right information, but if you can't get through to your fighter, then it's almost pointless. Not only does he have the knowledge, but he knows how to get into my head, and that's why you're about to see a different side of me and a different performance.
How good was your dad when he fought?
He was a good fighter. It was a different time, as we know, the 80s, early 90s, definitely a different time in boxing. But he was there. He boxed for West Ham too. He sparred with all the people that was winning the national titles year after year. I think he got to the semi-finals of the nationals himself. I've only seen him box once as a senior, but he loves the game. He's a student of the game. We've seen many football managers that weren't the best footballers of their day become great managers. We've seen that across all sports. And if the person loves the game, they're willing to adapt to the game, and they're willing to constantly add to their knowledge as a coach. And for the student, it's the best possible position. And that's the position I feel like I'm in now.
What's your corner for your upcoming fights?
So I've got my dad as the head coach. I've got my assistant trainer, Russell Gerard, who's a long-term West Ham trainer. He's also known me from my teenage years. He's recently come into the team just to add that different aspect. As much as me and my dad can work together and we keep progressing, it's always good to have another set of eyes. It's always good to have another brain there. And Russ has been a great help to the team. We've got Liam Williams as well, who many have probably seen me train.
Yeah.
My head strength and conditioning coach, but also with previous fighting experience, someone who knows me, someone who knows how to get through to me. And that's the main thing. It's not about having a coach that everyone knows and has the credentials and picking a safe choice that everyone validates. I've chosen the team that's best for me. And at the end of the day, I'm the only one that's getting in there. I'm the only one that has to worry about what is best for me ultimately. So the team in place, I wouldn't change. Extremely happy. Every element from yoga instructor to boxing trainer to physio, I have the team I want. And it's such a weight off my shoulders to know I have entire belief in whatever comes out of their mouth. There's no doubt, no anything. It's just, okay, you think I need to add this, let's add it, let's improve. I see the results of their words, which reinforces I have the best team around me.
You're very young, and I thank you so much for your time. But Teofimo Lopez is someone who kind of, people like that. Conor McGregor back in the day would push this idea that like you have to be at this level at a certain time. Are you taking it easy now? Like you don't want to get to European level too quickly. You're not rushing to get there. You're not rushing to get your British title, get your European title.
There's no rush. There's no rush. If my ability is to win a European title in 5 fights, it was a rush. It's just the level that I'm ready for. No one's trying to compare themselves to anybody else. Teofimo is Teofimo, Conor is Conor, Lawrence is Lawrence. Everyone has their own path. We're going to follow the path that's right for me. If the path that's right for me is to be a world champion in the next 8 fights, and we see that is possible and well within my reach, then we'll do it. If we need to take time, have a few defenses, hang at a certain level until I feel like I've mastered that level, then we'll do that. But there's no way you can jump and skip hurdles in this game, because eventually you'll be found out.
You proud of Gib?
Very proud of Gib. Very proud of Gib.
Getting back in there after I was there in Miami. It was a tough night that night, and I would never have thought he would get back in there and win.
The heart that he has shown, the determination that he has shown, no one should be looking at him as a YouTuber. At the end of the day, He was a fighter who had a tragic night, came back and had one of his best victories. Do you know how much mental toughness that takes, dedication and time for that to happen, and for you to come back even better than you were? Credit to give, respect to give, and I'll always have that for him. That's my guy.
February 19th. This is such an exciting night of fights. Kell Brook, who do you think wins that one?
I'm going with Brook. It is a 50-50 fight. I wouldn't be surprised if of the result if either guy's hand is raised, but my prediction is a Brook late stoppage.
You just had 2 years out of the ring. I can't wait to see you back. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You just had 2 years. How many more years would you need to take out for Jake Paul to have a chance against you?
Listen, I can't even answer that question because I don't plan to take any more years out, nor do I plan to fight Jake Paul. So he needs to do his thing. I'm gonna do my thing, and because he looks at the sport completely different to me. Who knows what his goals will be? I hear he's wants to do MMA. I see videos of him practicing his wrestling again. That is not something for me to worry about. The most I can do for Jake is reaction videos to whatever he's doing and make my channel pop some views. Besides that, I do not look at him as a nemesis or a future.
And he seems to think that he's going to be at world level in 5 fights as well. That's what he
listen,
believes.
Again, he's entitled to feel that way. We're obviously entitled to doubt him as well because we're going off the sense we have. He's going off what he sees in the gym. I don't know how accurate that is, but belief is where it starts.
What would you do if Breeders wrote a diss track about you now?
If Breeders wrote a diss track about me, I feel like it wouldn't be to the quality where I need to respond.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Viddal. February 19th. This is going to be such a great fight. And thank you for coming on.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers.